like I said, time is of the essence today. While you were in the movie, I spoke to the Holocaust Museum. They're allowing me to bring you in earlier so that we can get you off to Bethlehem earlier so that you can come back at a decent time and not like at 8 p.m. or whatever. So it looks like we'll get you there on time and you'll get back at 4 or 5 p.m. Now, we're at the top of the City of David here. If you'll come to the edges, we'll just do a quick overview. First of all, like we said when we were on the top of the Mount of Olives on our first afternoon in Jerusalem, we said it's located in a problematic situation for strategic reasons, because in ancient times you want to be, I think this mic is switched off because I went to the bathroom.
Okay.
I pressed the button there and the green lights stopped. Is it okay?
Yeah.
All right. So now you all know that I went to the bathroom. All right, so basically, we said it's problematic because the Western Hill, or as we call it today, Mount Zion, is way higher than it on the west. Mount Moriah, way higher on the north. Mount of Olives, look how much higher. On the east, I mean, every hill here is higher than it. But like we pointed out from the bus yesterday when we were passing by the pools of Bethesda, Pool of Siloam, even at the very bottom of the hill, and it does go steeply down as you can see, and we're going to end there, even at the very bottom it's protected by steep cliffs. It just drops down into the valley, and so it's protected by that. Now if you look down here, you can see a road on the eastern side, which is the Kidron Valley, with some cars parked on it. That is what seems to you like the valley between the City of David and the hill to its east. It's not. The original valley is 60 feet deeper than where the road is. How did it go up so much? Take a look under the homes. There's no nice way to say it, so just take a look outside of all their windows under the homes, and you'll see trash and trash and trash, and that's what they do. They just dump so much trash that the riverbed went up 60 feet. So even though you can see that it's a very steep hill going down, it was a lot steeper because it went 60 feet further down. So although this hill is nestled in between other hills, the sides of it go so steeply down on all sides that it's sort of protected on its own. And the reason the city is here, and the reasons the Jebusite had it, the reason David kept it here, was you need water in ancient times, and the biggest spring in this area is the Gihon Spring, which is where you'll be stepping into about halfway down the hill on the left slope. Now, incidentally, the hill in the distance there is called the Hill of Evil Counsel. That is where, if you remember, when Absalom rebelled against his father David, one of David's advisors rebels as well, moves to Absalom's son, gives him some really horrible good advice, and that advice is given on what we nickname the Hill of Evil Counsel. Incidentally, the family tomb of Caiaphas and all his family, the high priest, is confirmed, was found on the Hill of Evil Counsel. The structure that you see in between the trees there, with a sort of a fortress-like structure with a tower on the left and a flag post, that's the United Nations headquarters in Israel. They're always passing resolutions condemning Israel for every step we make. We find it ironic that their headquarters is on the Hill of Evil Counsel. Now, if this is David's palace, for strategic reasons, his palace is going to be on the top of the hill, and we think we found it under the visitor center where you see all those geraniums down there. We think we found the foundations of his palace. There's some historians and archaeologists who agree with it, some who don't, but in any case it would have been on the upper parts of the city for strategic reasons. Let's take a look. You see the rooftop down there with the barrel of water and the solar panel and a couple of satellite dishes, and you see a sort of an uglier roof a little bit further down with a whole bunch of, a couple black barrels, a couple white barrels, a solar panel over there. The idea is, look at all these rooftops. You can understand how the whole situation with David and Bathsheba would have happened here, because this hill going so steeply down to the left, it's very easy for whoever's up on top and on his own rooftop to see everyone's rooftops. Now, when we mentioned that Absalom rebelled against his father, David had to flee the city, and it tells you that he left the city and went up the ascent of the Mount of Olives, walking and weeping. So you can see the proximity. He literally crosses the Kidron Valley, goes up the Mount of Olives. Why? Because remember, we drove in through the Judean desert on the other side of the hill. The eastern slopes of the same hill are complete desert and go down into the desert, and David right now needs to make himself scarce. Now, Solomon, like we said, is the first who comes out of the city of David, builds a temple on top of Mount Moriah, an adjacent palace, and then the city starts spreading to the north. After Solomon, his son Rehoboam becomes the king of Israel. He doesn't handle a situation very, very smartly, and so the nation rebels, and the kingdom splits into the 10 tribes of the north who retain the name Israel, and Judah and Benjamin, who are now the kingdom of Judah, and Rehoboam is only a king of 2 instead of 12 tribes. Now, the northern kingdom of Israel is exiled in 722 BC by the Assyrians. About 15 years later, Hezekiah rebels, the king of Judea at that point, and the Assyrians turn their attention to this place. Hezekiah needs to do 2 things. He needs to build a very broad wall around his city, because he knows the Assyrians are going to come with an iron battering ram, and they're going to try and break into the city by breaking down the walls. So he needs to broaden the walls around his city, recall our visit to the model, and you remember that tongue sticking out to the south? That was the city of Jerusalem at the time. That was all there was. It would have been a big enough deal to broaden the walls around the city from that angle. I mean, to make them 25 feet thick, solid walls. But he looks onto the western hill. Get this, 15 years ago when the Assyrians exiled the 10 northern tribes of the Israelites, a whole bunch of Israelites who managed to escape from the northern kingdom, who managed to escape being exiled, fled and set up camp on the western hill above his city of Jerusalem. Now, strictly speaking, he's not their king. They're currently residing in his jurisdiction area, but he's not their king. It's an enemy kingdom, the kingdom of Israel, although they're all